Okay, welcome back to another episode and the final episode of Your True Sons Season 3. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Rutland. I'm here with Sean Weatherspoon and Jim Maclin. Today, let's cover the national championship game. College football has come to an end in, I guess, not so dramatic fashion as I hoped and predicted, but Indiana got the job done nevertheless. What are your initial thoughts and reactions to Indiana going a perfect 16-0 and winning the national championship this year? Did you expect this? Which is the answer is probably no. But J-Mac, what did you think about this game? And did it live up to any expectation that you may or may not have had, or was it just another college football game to you?
No, I think it was a good game. I think we saw two really good defenses kind of on display.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think if you talk about the beginning of the year, right? Do you pick Indiana to win it? No, but I think as the season went on, I think they were kind of the most consistent team that we've seen. Yeah, they had a couple of close ones in conference, but like conference games, you kind of got to take with a grain of salt and kind of because you never know about the history or the familiarity that you have with that other team.
Mm-hmm.
But I think definitely throughout the playoffs and kind of what they did in the Big Ten championship, I thought they were definitely the favorite. I did pick Miami. I mean, Miami had a shot at the end of the game to win that game. And,
They
you
did.
know, came up a little short. They did a great job. Indiana did a great job with disguising the coverage. So obviously Carson Beck would love to have that one back. The safety's getting off the middle of the field and going like you can't throw that football. But
Right.
no, it was a pretty good game. I'm an offensive guy, so I wanted to see some more electric plays. And I didn't see that. Saw some really good kind of back shoulder throws there to kind of seal the game or go down and get that field goal there to make it a touchdown game for Indiana.
Yeah.
For Miami, you saw the run game going, but you also saw one of my favorite players to watch in the league. I mean, in the college football right now, and Tony be electric with the ball in his hands. They did a lot of good things with getting the ball in space. But yeah, man, it was a good game. Like I said, I would have loved to see more fireworks on the offensive side of the ball. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you right now, man, I do appreciate defense. And Miami D line is for real. Those ends are for real. But kudos to Indiana, man. They were solid all year long, and they were solid, and they came up big when they had to.
Spoon, what do you think about the game, man? Initial thoughts.
First and foremost, J Mac is long winded right there. I think.
My bad. My
Nah,
bad. My
I'm
bad. My
just
bad.
messing with you.
My bad.
Nah, I'm just messing with you. I gotta give you a hard time, man. I think the game, it just didn't feel like it was a national championship game as the day went on yesterday. I don't know if that's because
Mm-hmm.
of the holiday or if it's because Indiana was in the championship game. People may see that as a little bit of an oddball, but
Yes.
throughout the season, as Mac stated, they were consistent. Their coach, he never wavered. His players went out and they played, Indiana ball, and they stood up for Bloomington. So shout out to them. I definitely want to, take my hat off to the U because they played the game the way you're supposed to play the game, man. And to see them get in, being one of the last teams to get into the playoff, to go out and represent for the ACC, who kind of takes the brunt of a lot of jokes when it comes to this new college football playoff and the climate
They do.
that we have in ball right now. I think they really stood up for their conference and showed that they have a lot of great history there, a lot of great players. And Mac talked about the defense. There was defense on both sides of the ball that just, it just made me, feel like good about college football just to see these guys. I saw one play on the goal line when Indiana's trying to punch it in, and one of the linebackers from Miami, man, he wasn't able to even see the running back. He wasn't able to figure out. He just, I'm gonna play my gap. I'm gonna be physical in the gap. And he didn't tackle the running back, but he stuffed the lineman into the running back. And this was right before they had that the rush by number 37 to go in. But they just did a great job of being physical. Their ends are top notch. I thought 29 made some great plays out there on the outside at corner, one of the better corners I've seen this year. Had a holding penalty that I think kind of
Mm-hmm.
gave Indiana a little life, and that kind of hurt them. But it was a great game by them. It's kind of tough to see Beck go out like that because people in Georgia,
Yeah.
they're a little excited. They a little happy with that one. Like, yeah, I knew he wasn't. I'm glad he ain't over here. And I think,
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's a veteran quarterback. He's a quarterback that showed that he can play in the big moment. And it was a little odd for me that concept on that last play of the game because It kind of looks like a two shell to me. I don't know if it's two man because there's nothing in the flat to show me, what the corner would have to
Yeah,
respect if there was something in the flat. So he just kind of, you know, gets up the field, stays
carried him.
outside, gives the
Yeah,
guy the inside, and that's what you want in that cover too. You want to force him inside, and he carried him up there and picked it off. Man, it was just a huge play. Super proud of Indiana though. They played great. They were physical on defense. I really love Six, man. He made the biggest play of the game, I think, after Mac's favorite player, Tony, caught the punt on like the 4 or 5 yard line. And they didn't have a chance to open their
hmm
playbook up there. And I think Six made a great play in a punt safe situation. I would just say this. If they're in punt safe, let's just bring our guys in and just do a regular punt, a pro punt protection. Because, I mean, one guy
what we
got
doing?
beat, that ball's blocked, and that's a
What
touchdown.
we
That's
doing
just
rolling
kind of
That
out?
tough.
no, that's
Like,
the one thing about college football. I don't understand all the unique punting formations. I get it. Maybe there's some fakes and stuff that they have like deep into their back pocket, but man, like just punt the ball.
well, look, I
Nobody's
think it's.
rushing.
And go ahead.
I think,
Nobody's rushing and they're rolling right. Like,
but I
why are
think
we
the
rolling right?
traditional. Yeah, I think the tradition. I've thought about that too, Jim. I think the traditional punt formation that we've grown to come accustomed with in the NFL, I don't think college players can execute it. So I think,
And that's
yeah,
and that's fine, but just run your
Coaching.
standard shield punt.
That's coaching.
Like, just run your stand, like you know what I mean. But now we got two dudes out wide. We're doing shifts, motions,
yeah,
which I get it, right? Let's keep pushing the game forward, right? I get it, but
hmm
I think in that sense, right? Carson, they've been doing it all year long, so it's
Hmm.
just Indiana made a great play. But for
yeah,
everybody watching, fans, kids, I tell my players all the time, man. In those big games, man, special teams a lot of times is the difference. And you take away
and it
that
was.
that block seven, right? That's the game. So
And
That is the
also,
game. That's the
also to
game.
go
I
and let's
so
go back. Let's go
yeah. Go
back to a 4th and 7 from the quarter. Matter of fact, two fourth and mediums that Indiana got on one drive and finished it with the quarterback, flying into the end zone was
Mm,
also a huge play to win that game as well.
that was a great play. That was a great play. I think a lot of people were saying that was his Heisman moment, even though he already won the award. I think that kind of solidified. Okay, he won the award, and maybe he was deserving. Even though I think there were some better players than him. I have a question for you guys. Indiana winning the national championship, was that good or bad for college football? Does college football need the Miamis of the world and the UTs and the Oklahomas and Ohio States kind of always had that position? Or does the sport need a newcomer like Indiana to be competitive and to win it all in a convincing fashion in every playoff game except for the last one? Is that good or bad for college football?
I I am going to say that for me, it's not more so Indiana winning it being good or bad. I think the Big Ten winning it is good for football. I think
Mm.
had the ACC won that, and maybe because it's the U, maybe it would have been
Yeah.
hit different. But I think if the ACC won it, I think now everybody is like dumbfounded, right? So I think with this power struggle between Big Ten and SEC, like I think it's good that the Big Ten won it. But
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe that like Indiana winning it like is a good thing. I think if Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State or hell even Oregon like may have been better for college ball, but the fan in me and how like I love competition, right? So like the
hmm
fan in me is saying, yo, like another competitive team, right?
Mm.
We said this earlier, right? Like can Indiana sustain it? Well, I guess we'll see. We already know they got the funding. We already know they got Mark Cuban in their corner. That's all that you need, right? When you talk about the funding aspect. But now, can they sustain it? I think that now becomes a question because if they can sustain it, well, then now they fall into that same category as kind of like some of the newer blue bloods that we've now grown accustomed to liking. And I think Indiana has a long way to go before we consider that. But if you think at 11-2 last year, 16-0, let's say they go another 14-2 next year, like now you got to start putting them into these categories of like the Oregons and things like that. Not maybe your staples, but like those kind of new teams that bust through, you got to start putting them into those categories.
I'm going to say something wild. If that head coach can win 2 more national championships in the next 4 years, he will begin, in my opinion, to compete in terms of that talks of who's the greatest college coach of all time. He's going to be in the 7 talks. This is why. You can no longer dominate the recruiting trail like Saban did. I get all the 4s and 5 stars. I should win all these games. Now, he gets all the grown men and they come and play, but still it's a different team every year. If he can do this, if he can win 2 more national championships within the next 4 to 5 years, I have to start putting him in the conversation for one of the greatest college coaches of all times. Agree, Spoon.
Yeah, you know what? I would say if he didn't coach anymore, he'd be the Hall of Fame coach. I mean, look at what he did at James Madison, and you look at what he's done at Indiana in such a short period of time. I mean, he's only lost 2 games there. Am I right? Is it 2 games? How many?
Crazy.
How many games has he lost there? I'm not
You're
sure
right.
how many
Yeah.
years he's been there.
You're right. Yeah.
But
You're right.
I mean, he ain't got a coach no more, man.
Cool.
And he comes from the Saban tree, so it's like the cloud is there, and the result, 16-0. That's something that that's going to stand for a long time because I mean, think about who's done it before. We had to go back to talk about the Ivy League team. I think Yale did it 41 years ago or something, 42 years ago or something. I think we got to take our
I
hat
don't
off
even
to
know that.
Cincinnati.
Okay.
I want to say if I'm right, I think it was 84 Yale, but I want to
That's
say
special.
that's great. He's awesome. I put him up there with the legends already because that team is going to be talked about forever. And the fact that Indiana won, I think is great for college football because it coincides with the current climate of, fund the team, get a great coach, go out and execute week in, week out, win the games. Hey, you got a shot. You got a shot. And that's a playoff. A playoff is get in. I mean, Miami being the last team to get in
Yeah.
and end up in the championship
Mhm.
game, and Indiana being one of the most, steady Eddie teams, but still one of those teams where it's like, man, it's Indiana, man. They ain't been here long enough for us to be like, they the guys. But they went out and put it out. So I think it's good for college football.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Big Ten is wearing the crown, so it gives them a little more, to puff their shoulders about because the last 3
Yeah.
champions have been Indiana, Ohio State, and Michigan. So I mean, the SEC and the ACC and the Big
Michigan.
12. Everybody got a lot to go after right now. So I think it's great.
I think you can argue that what he did, I know with the roster turnover, right? And I don't know how many Indiana lost or what they did. I think arguably now, right, like with how many guys are going and coming, it's NFL-esque, but even more so. NFL, you don't got 45 guys leaving.
No.
That's not a thing. You know what I mean?
No.
So
No.
I agree with Spoon with that, man. Like I think today's climate, like this is what it's gonna take the proper funding, the proper resources, but you got to have a good head coach that knows how to make the pieces of the puzzle fit together. Because like
That's true.
that's the part that's gonna get real tricky. All while building your foundation. Now he was
Yeah.
smart. His foundation came from those guys he brought from James Madison.
That was
Yes.
smart.
And I
That was
guarantee you,
huge.
I guarantee you, those guys in Bloomington hadn't won. So like those guys were willing to do whatever it took if they were going to build that roster to buy into what his vision was. So like
Mm-hmm.
I think he had the perfect storm. I think you had a good coach. He brought the right pieces with him. He went to a place where there ain't no egos there. You can't have no
Zero.
egos there. Like
Yeah.
you ain't done nothing.
Yeah.
And he had the proper funding behind him. So I kudos to him.
Well, let's talk about the funding. Are we about to see basically another shift in the college football power where just follow the money and you'll find the best teams? At a time, it was, Bama. It was a blue blood run league. Now it's just, well, Just find the money and I'll find you the next best team. Texas Tech, Indiana, teams that historically are not even football schools. Is that what we are now? And then, second question, think about this. Second question is, how do other teams catch up if you don't have the money? What do you do? What does Mizzou do if they have Mark Cuban backing them? What do you do to catch up?
Well, I think with this 105 and opting in and everybody kind of getting the same right amount of money to kind of
Salary cap
disperse
ish.
however you want. Yeah, salary. Yeah. Now the question is how do you then keep an eye on like what all these guys are making from other things, and that's going to be the hard part. Like I said, you think you fix one problem, here comes another problem, and I don't even call
Right.
them problems. Here comes another situation that you got to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Something you got
I
to deal
think
with.
so, Kev. I think what you're saying is right, but the other part is you got to have the right leader. Got to have the right leader. I don't necessarily believe that just having the funding is going to win you one. I do think it can take you, to 10, 11 wins. You can get in and have a chance, but I do think like it is playing football. It is X's and O's. It is schematic. It is all those things still. So I think you kind of have to be like somewhat
Yeah.
elite or upper echelon in that category.
You got to you
So what
got
do
to
you about
take
what
care of the investment.
do you think
You
it's
got to
just
take
about
care
the
of the
money or you still
investment.
got to coach?
You got to take care of the investment. If you don't have the coach that can lead that group and put them in position to feel that every time they step on the field, their money that they spent is giving them an opportunity to win based on what they've done by trusting the process of winning by the way they practice, the way they, administer to those kids as mentors, father figures for a lot
Mm-hmm.
of guys. It's a lot of work that a coach is doing with his staff that's allowing those teams that are successful with that money spent. Because there's a lot of people spend a lot of money and didn't get an opportunity this year. And they got an opportunity by lining up and playing each week, but they didn't have a true shot. Like think about, universities sending coaches home, these big buyouts, these players that, you spend a lot of money on that came in and didn't produce. It's becoming very similar to the NFL. Like Mac said, when I think of Josh Allen having his best opportunity to win because all these guys are out, yet one of the most least talented
Yeah.
teams that the Bills have had, and kind of all that pressure falls
Yeah.
on him and McDermott. And it's
Yep.
like
Yep.
you still got to do your due diligence to make sure that the team is being led
Yeah.
the right way and that you
Yeah.
have the pieces, not just the money spent, but that these are the right pieces. Like you got to get it right, and it's even the stakes are even higher with the amount of money these people are spending.
I agree. I assumed it was just, hey, let me build the super team and then we can win it all, but it's not. Especially when you're building a super team every year. And I wouldn't even say that Indiana built a super team. I don't I can't name a lot of guys on that team, you know what I mean? What you got
Well,
there?
let me ask you a question. What qualifies as a super team? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not that familiar with their roster, right? Like, so yeah, yeah. You can take this one away, but I want to make a reference real quick first, because like
Yeah.
one of the best rosters ever assembled never won a national championship. That 2001 Miami team. So like, what qualifies as a super team? Because there was I don't know how many first rounders on that team. I
Yeah.
I, I would assume Indiana one, two.
I mean,
I
you got
I
the
I,
quarterback.
I like the corner, but he's not gonna go. He's 5'9". Like, so
Hey,
it's just
hey, oh,
he
whoa, whoa,
should.
now,
Let me put
woo!
that disclaimer out
He's
there.
saying
That boy
he's
was
saying he won't be a
sticky.
first rounder. He won't be a first rounder, will he?
No, yeah, he won't
First
be a
round?
first round.
I
So you
don't
know what? Wait.
understand.
I don't know. Put like this.
Yeah.
Put like
I
this.
mean, I don't
Place.
know
I
either.
don't know. But like, we wasn't saying that about Air Reed. We wasn't saying about Andre Johnson. We wasn't saying that about all like that.
We
Right?
knew they
You
were
know what I
first
mean?
rounders. Yeah.
We knew it.
Yeah,
So like, what qualifies Kevin as an elite team?
So I'm going to say I don't think gone are the days where the stars make an elite team, like the 4 and the 5 stars. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think whoever can build the most experienced team has the best shot of winning that championship.
The
Give me the
mesh.
oldest
It's a
team,
mesh.
and I was, I think they got a chance of making it pretty far in the college football playoff.
Got to be
Now,
developed.
So
that may
go
not
ahead.
cost you a lot of money, but you have to be. I need finished products on the field. I can't have a guy where I'm working with him. I need finished products.
So are you separating college and pros then? Is it separate for you? Like, so when people are talking about it, like people are talking about this Indiana team being one of the best teams of all time. I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily believe that. But they did go 16-0.
Yes.
I sit back and I think about the 2019 LSU team.
Ooh.
I'd be hard pressed for them to beat that team. I
No.
sit back and I talk about that Clemson team that mopped the floor with Alabama. I don't think they can beat that team. There are multiple Alabama teams that I don't think this Indiana team can beat. I don't think this Indiana team beats last year Ohio State team. But they did go 16-0. So
Yeah. So that it's maybe because you brought up those other teams, but
Any
maybe,
given day. Any
and if you
given
think
day.
about it, I think it is. I think it's any given day. I think it is because LSU's team, Joe Burrow bounced around. He wasn't a good player at Ohio State, but not who he ended up being at LSU, right?
Hey,
So I don't even want to use the word
I'm about to
super
give you the
anymore.
super
Maybe you
team.
guys are right. Just what you guys
I'm gonna
supposed?
give you the super team criteria. Both of your cornerbacks are afraid. They are afraid because these guys will just run flat out by them. That way, the middle of the field's open. The deep, you if you think it's something shallow, but they running by you. The tight end can outrun all the safeties. Out. Those are the super teams. Like when I think of the LSU team, they just had so much speed in 2019, and where like Joe Burrow just dropped back and throw it up. With these teams, I didn't see like, okay, this guy's just gonna go out there and just line him up over here. He gonna Randy Moss run right. Jamar Chase just running by people. I think the super
Mm-hmm.
teams, the team speed is going to be the key when we're talking about a super team. But there's ways to negate that by running the ball for
Mm-hmm.
45 times, to Miami's 21. So it's going to be that style of play
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
for the coaches to keep their team from feeling inferior to the other team. But if you get the fastest people on your team, you not 9 times out of 10, bro. You should win the game as long as you physical. And speed usually means physicality when we're talking about the blue
yeah,
bloods
yeah.
of the country. So I think that's what kind of gives me a super team. It's just like we can outrun you everywhere.
I think it just depends on, like I said, I agree with you, but I think it depends on like what your qualifications are. Like I said, is it about just strictly what you do in high school? I mean, in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, is it about what these guys go off and do when they leave college? I was looking back on it, man. That team had 5 first rounders, 2 All Pros, Hall of Fame. Or is it,
Yeah.
hey, in college that team went 16-0? Like that's one of the, like I don't really know because I wanna give credit to where credit's due and talk about them in the light they need to be talked about. But like I think people are going a little too far, like because the eye test still means something. Like
Yes, it does.
the eye test is still a part of all of this,
That's
right?
that
And
draft. That's that
I
draft.
know what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? Like I know what I'm looking at. And I'm not saying just because you have all these NFL guys, you're a better team. But like the teams that did achieve what you achieved,
Hmm.
then I can start stacking man for man and saying,
Right. Yeah, right.
yeah, like,
You don't compare to those guys.
yeah, exactly. And that's and
And
that's
a,
that's all.
a lot of
So
those super teams
go
too,
ahead,
when
Spence.
you have that type of talent, on a team, they can protect one another. Like I play with a lot of guys that were second round picks that started 1 year at LSU. Like 1 year at another school. Like these guys had a chance
Mm-hmm.
to, be backups when they first came in, play special teams, and when their moment came, boom, they hit it. But that speed was key, that durability was key, and the physicality was key at all those places. And so to me, when you can push people off the ball and you can outrun them, you got a chance to beat that team that has a slow Big Ten type. That's kind of how we looked at the Big Ten in the past years and years, like other than OSU and Oregon, Penn State. Those other teams
Big
just
and
kind of
slow.
seem
Yeah.
little heavy leg. And I think
Mm-hmm.
now It's not necessarily something that's
Mm-hmm.
coming to the forefront because of their style that they're playing. It's veteran led. So I would always remember getting to the league and Tony Gonzalez like working me, and I'm like, bro, he can't run by me. Like, but bro, he just taking my speed and using it
Yeah,
as his advantage
Yeah.
instead of mine. I think that's what
understands it.
these older guys are able to do that with these younger guys that's running around like a blind dog in a meat market.
Dude, I saw Tony G, and off subject, I saw Tony G when he was with Atlanta beat Mike Kendricks on the same out route 7 times in a game. The same route. Same route. Mike Kendricks
Insane.
running circles around Tony G.
Yeah,
The
insane.
same route 7 times.
And that's what those
So,
older players, those veteran college
so
players, it seems like they're doing that.
that's my next question. If I'm an NFL scout, two guys who have played in the NFL, do I take the same approach when I'm scouting? Am I getting a developed product? And I think, you know what? That weighs a lot more than drafting a kid like J-Mac who is drafted before he turns 21. Is that correct, J-Mac?
Yeah, I was drafted at 20.
So
20 years old.
now, if I'm an NFL scout or NFL franchise, and Indiana had a guy, I remember the safety, they said the 6-year senior. And I'm like, whoa, that's a long time to be in college. But he's making plays. Do I want him to come in at 23, 24? Or am I going for the stud safety out of Ohio State who is probably 20 years old?
You ain't gonna give him a lot of money.
How do you grade
won't.
that?
Yeah,
If
it's close,
still gonna get those young guys. You're still gonna invest that money in those young guys. The early round
yeah, if
picks are
it's
still gonna
close, you
be
go
those
young. Yep.
freakish guys.
Yep.
And those glue guys, you still have opportunity to get those guys. 6 years playing. That's something that you look at them. Day 2, maybe day 3 or whatever. I feel like you're gonna jump on the for sure young talent because you kind of almost got like an NBA approach where you're not gonna have. You want more time with these guys. I feel like that's where the NFL is lacking in execution and time with the players. And the quicker you can get them, I think the 20-year-olds in the drafts are going to look a lot more appealing than the 25-year-old from Indiana that was just a glue guy on that team
Yeah.
at the top of the
If
draft.
it's close, you go with the younger guy. The difference between the NFL and the NCAA right now, if it's close in the NCAA, you want to go with the older guy because you want to win right now, and you're not trying to develop nobody. If it's close in the National Football League, 1, he's younger. 2, probably has more upside. Number 3, right? Like if I'm going to invest my money, I'm going to invest in something that's got less wear and tear on their body. So I'm going to go with the younger guy.
Let me throw a curveball at you. If I draft the 6-year senior who might be in his rookie season at 24 years old, he gets 4-year contract. I get him in his prime, 24, 28. I don't have to pay him again. Somebody else can get him now. So essentially, as an NFL franchise, I could always be in win now mode if I get the 24-year-old who's ready to play today.
No, because you only get 7. On average, you get 7 draft picks. In college football, I can get 60 out the portal. That's the difference. So you can't keep doing that because you're gonna run out of spot. Because you gotta. Okay, this year I need a receiver. DT this year I need a center. But then next year I need a running back. I might need double back. I need a safety. I need a corner. Right? I got, you know what I mean. So like you can't do it that way because you don't have enough players and enough pieces to just say, hey, I want everybody that's ready to play now because the chips may not always fall like that.
It may
You see
not.
what I'm
That's what you're saying. Like you just may
Yeah.
not have opportunity to get all the guys. But
Exactly.
I'm saying what I think we're going to see is an uptick in that number of players being available. We're going to see more 5th and 6th year seniors in college football from here on out because they're paying you. And maybe you weren't ready to be drafted at 22, but at 23 you had a great season. So now
it's a lot of guys in the league.
Go ahead.
My bad, man. Go ahead.
No, I'm about to say, here, you know what the great part is? We got a really good friend who's an NFL scout. Let's invite him on the show. Let's talk to him about what they're looking for, right? Also, my boy Rod Street, NFL scout. Let's invite him on the show. Let's see what they're looking for because I guarantee you what they're looking for may have changed a little bit, but you always want younger. And that's never going to change the National Football League. Ever. You always
I
want
should
younger.
I should be a GM. We don't know. I should be a
And
GM.
Kevin,
Be a GM.
I don't know.
Uh,
I feel like the 25
yeah.
year old, 25, 26 year old successful players, they come in there and no disrespect to our guy, but Michael Sam, how many years he stayed at Missouri? He stayed there whole time, right?
All four, all five.
Red
Okay,
shirt. Yeah. And red
had
shirt.
great
Yeah.
success there, right? Came in. I remember some guys telling me Michael think he getting his ankles taped before this guy, you know. So some of those older guys that come in, 24 years old, 25 years old, thinking they're gonna get that same treatment they got from their trainer in school, and find out, okay, it's a pecking order in this league where you might get taped, but you, son, you might just have some ankle
Yeah.
braces, you know. And maybe those guys that have been veterans and the man on their campuses by being those glue guys, it's gonna make that transition tough to where you're like, man, I got enough money, man. I don't need this. I can go into corporate. I can do this. You know, I've been paid. And I think those hungry guys that really want to be pros, those 25-year-old guys that are with the third team on the practice squad, you want them guys because you know the street done made them gritty. You know they know this is the last chance they may get,
Yeah.
and you bring those guys in with less, less money that you put into them, and you'll get a bigger product out of them, maybe.
Okay. Last question before we break and then talk about how we're gonna end the season. What conference has the crown now? SEC. We're gonna walk to the SEC, grab the crown, pick it up, go to the Big Ten and put it there and say, now we knight you as the kings of college football. Boom said the last 3 natty championships.
Spoon, you take this one first. I got it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just feel like if that crown was bouncing from conference to conference, I would say SEC got but this last win by 16-0 team coming out of this conference showing us what excellence truly looks like. I think we gotta give them some props, and maybe they're top heavy over there. We can say that. We know that the SEC has a deeper core of teams. I truly believe that, and that could play in the factor of why they didn't win the championship because they're going through so much during the year. Who knows? But right now, those
Mm-hmm.
teams that are preparing their rosters, getting ready for their run, gearing up in the SEC, yes, you have to be at the top of the SEC. You know you have to get those 10 wins, but you got to be looking at the Big Ten. Like in the last 3 times, like we got to bring that thing home in order for us to call ourselves the Kings. But still the deepest conference, I believe. But right now, we're just not the Kings.
Jamie, what do you think?
I think it's not even just about the Big Ten winning the national championship. I think it's about how they performed in bowl games, how they performed in bowl games against the SEC schools. Kev, you got to say it
Dang.
because I'm gonna tell you right now. Here's the deal. Like there's the Big Ten on the playing field right now is the conference right now in 2B, but they still not king just because of everything that the SEC represents, the aura, everything that goes down south. Like it's just different. But
The
right
weather.
now, like you want to talk about being able to go out there and winning the big one, like you got to give it to the Big Ten. But they haven't. They're not king in college football. I'm gonna tell you right now, like, and maybe I had Big 12 bias, but I thought we were in school when the SEC kind of took it from the Big 12.
Yeah.
Am I tripping?
Yeah.
No.
Like we kind of like right after we got out, we kind of saw it getting taken away.
Well, not kind of. Tim Tebow's run, Bama hits the scene, and then you got Auburn with Cam from my last year. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. The SEC was
Yeah,
taking it
there
there
was
from
the
the Big 12.
changing of
Yeah.
the guard
But
right as
what
we were
but
in there.
what but wasn't it the Big 12 at that point? Like, am I tripping? Or
I mean,
maybe
they
that Big
always
12
faced
goggles on.
no, they always faced Texas or Oklahoma in the national championship game, but who was winning it? It was Florida, it was Auburn, it was Bama.
Okay, so I say that to say like I can kind of see that starting. It just for me it hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? It hasn't like
Yeah,
fully happened where I'm just like, oh, it's the Big Tens now. So that, like, I think that's
yeah,
the reason why I say there's not a changing of the guard. But on the field, right? Like the SEC has to figure out ways, like when you gotta win, right? We got to be able to put our best product on the field and win. Right now, and the Big Ten has done that better than SEC.
I actually
And
agree
when you
with
look
that.
history,
I wouldn't take the crown yet, but go ahead, Spoon.
history says Big Ten got 33 natties. SEC follows with 28.
Yeah, so the Big Ten back in the day was
Yeah, they
definitely, and
had
then
it. Yeah, it
Big
was
Ten,
them.
I think it
Pac-10,
transitioned,
Pac-12 is
right?
after that. Then
Yeah.
the Big 12, Big 8.
Did the Pac-12
Interesting.
ever have a run like that we've
Man,
seen?
USC was
You
tough.
got USC, but
I guess,
maybe
well,
UCLA back in the day too.
maybe, yeah, I'm thinking Cal. Cal was
Cal, yeah,
Cal was
yeah.
nice back when. Obviously, the Washington has been. I know Coach Pinkel was there. They did great, but I don't know about Natties. I got to go back and do my
Mm-hmm.
history. But the Big Ten, I mean, they looking like that, man. And I think
It's
the
looking
SEC
like
gonna be
that.
in the lab. SEC gonna be in the lab, man. Big 12 gonna be in the lab. The pocketbooks are gonna be open. Checkbooks gonna be open, man. It's with this playoff. This is the perfect time for everybody to get involved and get theirs.
I agree. I agree. Now listen, before we break, because this is the last episode of season 3 of Your True Sons, some things to look forward to for next season. We can take a couple weeks off, but when we come back, look forward to a lot of fan interaction. Please, fans, give us some things you want to hear us discuss. It doesn't have to be about college football. It can be about anything. You name it. We are here to tackle it. You're going to see some guest shows and just what your true sons are up to in the day-to-day life. We are looking forward to our season 4 after a couple of weeks breaks, man. But when we come back, we'll come back better and stronger than ever. So as season 3 signs off, we are your true sons. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Rutland, here with Jeremy Maclin and Sean Weatherspoon. Y'all enjoy it, man. Season 3 is a wrap.